Saddle up, Centurions! It's your boy, the Prime Centurion, back here with another monthly comic book haul. I wonder what's in the box. That reminds me of some movie. What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in that box? Oh God! Oh God! What's in the box? Oh my God! Oh, wait. It's just a bunch of comics. Yeah. Oh, and some styrofoam bits. Yeah. Well, that was a bit weird. Anyways, this is my new monthly comic book haul, and it was for late December of 2020 into early January of 2021. It's about 23 comics. You can see them all right here. It's DC, Marvel, and a little bit of IDW thrown in as well. Okay, first up for DC, we've got the Batman Annual number 5, and this is cover A by Derek Chew. It is the origin of the Clown Hunter, which has been a bright spot there in the last little Batman run there. Very interesting. I'd like to see the origins of this kid, how his parents got killed, and how he actually became the Clown Hunter. They kind of just thrust you into him being the Clown Hunter right away in the story. But this is Dark Knight's Death Metal, The Secret Origin, number 1. It is the cover A by Ivan Reis and Joe Prado. And very nice little book here. It looks like it's going to have Superboy Prime facing off against the Batman Who Laughs. That should be interesting. I think this is one of the final battle pieces here. And this is Dark Knight's Death Metal, The Last 52, War of the Multiverses. And it's the cover A by Dan Mora. Now, this was a little bit of an expensive book. It retailed for $6.29. I got it for a little bit cheaper due to my discount that I get on TFAW. And a little plug for TFAW. I've been using them for several months now to get my comics. I order them online. They're things from another world. I don't have any kind of affiliation with them, but they give you some good prices, 20 to 30% off of retail on comics if you pre-order them. And that's pretty much all I do is just pre-order these. It comes out real well. But as you can see here on the cover, looks like the main battle's about to happen. You got everybody kind of going there, getting ready to fight. Villains, heroes, everybody. As you can see here, though, it is kind of a thicker book. So, should be an interesting read. I'm ready to get this series wrapped up. I have enjoyed it. It was a little slow at first. Alright. Now we also have, lastly, the Dark Knight's Death Metal number 7. This is the final Dark Knight's Death Metal issue. And this is cover C by the Stanley Art Germ Lau. And it is the Batman Who Laughs variant. I think pretty much all the variants were all Batman Who Laughs. But this will finally bring it into Dark Knight's Death Metal. And I believe right after that you go into Generation Shattered. Like I said, been a good story so far. This is a bit of a thicker book. Guess that's not surprising given that it's the end of everything here. And the beginning of something new will come next. Alright, next up you got the Generation Shattered, number 1. It's cover A by Ivan Reis and Joe Prado as well. And this was another expensive kind of book because it's a bit thicker, a lot more pages. It's $6.99 retail price. You can see here it's way thicker than a normal comic book. And this basically takes place right after Dark Knight's Death Metal. It has a kind of makeshift team of heroes throughout time. You've got Kamandi, you've got Dr. Light, you have Steel, you have the year 1 or year 2 Batman, you have an early version of Superman, the Sinestro Green Lantern. Make sure I'm not leaving nobody out here. Oh, Booster Gold and Starfire. Looks like an early Starfire as well. Probably her Teen Titans thing there, but should be interesting to see where they go with this. I know this and then the other generations one that they have leads into Infinite Frontier, which is the new direction that they'll be going in March. Alright, next up we have Future State Dark Detective number 1. It is a 4-part series, and this is cover A by Dan Mora. This is kind of like in the far future. Batman is not Batman no more. He is now the Dark Detective. There's some kind of evil magistrate that's kind of like taken over Gotham City or the world, something like that. It is a little bit more of an expensive book, but it is thicker, and it also has an extra story for the grifters in there as well. Some of these future state books, the ones that are a little more expensive, they do have backup stories. I've heard kind of mixed reviews about the backup stories, that they could have been left out or some of them were good, but we'll see. I do have a few titles. I didn't get all of them. This is one of them. All right, next up, I've got another future state book. This is The Flash #1 of 2. This is cover A by Brandon Peterson. This was a cheaper book. It's not as thick, doesn't have any backup stories, and it looks like we've got another story where Wally West is evil again, but I've heard some stuff of it brainwashing and things like that. So, should be interesting. I like The Flash. I'd be interested to see what they do with Wally West now after everything that happened in the past events of like Dark Knight's Death Metal and stuff. Okay, next up, another future state book. Keeping with the Batman theme here, we've got The Next Batman, #1 of 4. This is cover B by Jim Lee and Scott Williams. It's the cardstock variant, so it was another extra $1 more expensive than the normal cover A. It does have some other backup stories as well, so it was a little more of an extensive book. It was $6.29 at retail. It may have been a little more expensive in other places as well. That might be with my discount that I got the $6.29. I don't really remember. But I do like this cover art. This is supposed to be the Lucius Fox's son or grandson, something like that, that takes over being the next Batman. He's got more of a futuristic suit. I do like the flaps there over the mouth and nose there to keep him covered so you can't tell his identity. I always wondered that about Batman. It's like, how does nobody know? He has the chin or the stubble. Everybody sees it, and why does nobody ever know that this is Batman? It just never made any sense. All right, next up we have another future state title. It's Wonder Woman #1 of 2. And this cover A by Joelle Jones. This is a just a single story in here. But this is the new Wonder Woman that came out, and everybody went ballistic over her. Like, Brazil went just absolutely ape poop about it. But this is Yara Flora on the cover here. This is the new Wonder Woman. She's from the Amazon jungles, like deep within. She had a run-in with Diana at some point in one of the Wonder Woman runs before this. But it looks like there's going to be her going, and trying to protect man's world from magic and evil and stuff. And it says in the thing that she's supposed to be going to Hades to save some of her, in the underworld there, to save some of her sisters from Themyscira. So it should be interesting to see where they go with this and see if they keep her as a character. All right, next up, I've got 2 books from IDW here. This is the continuation of the Dungeons & Dragons at the Spine of the World. This is #2 of 4, and it is cover A by Kokolo. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Pretty inexpensive book. I paid $2.79 for it, so not very expensive at all. Very good story. The very first one was more of a character building. You got to meet all the characters. They joined up, and now they're about to start their quest. So this should be the continuation of that. I do enjoy the whole Dungeons & Dragons line of stories and all that fantasy, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to reading this one, and #3, which I also have. And speaking of #3, here is the Dungeons & Dragons at the Spine of the World #3 of 4. And the same artist as well, Kokolo. Should be interesting to see. Only got one more issue after this, and then this story arc will be over. I don't know if they'll continue it. I did forget to mention that AJ Mendez, who used to be AJ Lee, is a wrestler from WWE. She is a writer on this title as well, and I think she's been doing a fantastic job. I look forward to her doing more work later in the future. All right, now on to the big boys of Marvel. I have Eternals #1, and this is the, let's see here, the Alex Ross variant. It doesn't say which cover it is. I do like the artwork there of Icarus. I want to say that's Icarus. I really don't know so much about the Eternals, so I'm kind of interested to read a little bit about this and see how it is. I do also have the alternate cover from the Comic Tom 101 of Cersei. that I'll be putting up on the wall. This one's going to just go into the box and keep it as kind of like a collector's item after I read it. Looking forward to it. I've heard kind of mixed reviews. I've pre-ordered up through I think number 2 or 3 just to kind of give it a feel and see how I like it. Okay, next up we have the Immortal Hulk number 42. This is another cover art by Alex Ross. This story by Al Ewing. It's been great. I do like the funky cover here with looks like Hulk coming out of the leader there. It's pretty neat. It's been a great story so far since I picked up reading it. Kind of a sleeper, like, you know, unless you were actually reading it or knew somebody that was reading it, you really didn't know too much about it. But this has been a great story. Lots of twists and turns along the way, and I look forward to seeing how this issue turns out and seeing how the rest of the run goes. I think they said Al Ewing's only going to run to about 50, and then he's going to stop, and this is number 42. All right, for all you Star Wars fans out there like me, we have the new publication line coming. I know they started doing some novels and some teen books, and this is the comic line for the Star Wars The High Republic, which is the next phase of Star Wars. This is number 1, and this is the Anandito variant. You get introduced to a bunch of new Jedi here. There's some kind of big cataclysm, and the Nihilus is supposed to be the villains of this one. I don't know if we're going to see Darth Nihilus in this or not, but it'd be very interesting, and I look forward to reading it. I've heard very good things about it so far, and looking forward to it. All right, next up we have another one of my favorite titles here. We've got Thor number 11. This is the standard cover for it. Story's been great so far. Donny Cates is knocking it out of the park with this one. I was looking to see if it was actually going to tie in anything in King in Black, but I'm kind of glad that he didn't. It has its own little story arc going, and it kind of leads you, you know, to see why he's not in King in Black, at least not right now. But yeah, this thing took a very dark turn, and it's very interesting. I like to see where it's going to go from here. All right, next up we got another title. One of my favorite characters here for Wolverine. This is number 8, and this is the Del Mundo Nullified variant. This is kind of like if Noah got his hands into Wolverine, what he would look like. I think this cover is really badass looking. Been an interesting story. See where it picks up here with the, you know, X of Swords tie-ins finally starting to wrap up now. Hopefully they'll get back to the Dracula storyline. That was my favorite. I didn't really care for the other part of the story arc that was kind of going on at the same time. Interested to see where it goes, though. All right, well now we're going to start all the King in Black titles. This is King in Black number 2 of 5. Enjoyed the first one. It was very good. I do think the tie-ins have been kind of hit and miss. A lot of them are just fighting symbiote dragons and stuff, but no, Noah was getting closer to Earth, and I think he covered it in the symbiotic goo before the end of that issue. Looking forward to reading this one, though, and seeing what happens after this as the world's plunged into darkness. All right, next up is King in Black Namor number 2, and this is a 5-issue series as well. This has kind of been chronicling the younger days of Namor and the Black Tide and how it all ties into Null currently, or him running into Null in the past. I don't remember the solicitation right offhand, but I thought it had been, you know, a pretty good story. I mean, it wasn't the greatest thing I've ever read, but the colors were very vibrant, and you know, it kind of gives you a little bit of a side of Namor that I haven't seen before. Most of his exploits were when he was older, so this is kind of like something different, you know. And I know some people didn't like it, but so far I've been enjoying it. You know, I'm going to keep reading it to the end because I know it does tie in pretty good with King in Black. All right, next up we have King in Black, The Planet of the Symbiotes. This is a 3-issue series. This is number 1. I love the cover for this, so if nothing else, even if the story is not very good, I love the cover, so I bought it for that. But I'm going to check it out. I'm going to read it. I know the next couple that were up for pre-order right now got some interesting artwork on them as well, and some interesting things going to happen in this book, it looks like. So, should be a good read. Okay, next up we have Venom number 32. This is the Brown Marvel vs. Alien variant. It's another King in Black tie-in. Donny Cates' run's going to come to an end here pretty soon with issue number 200 or 300. I don't really remember offhand. I think it's issue number 200. But it's fast approaching. It's sad to see him go. He's been doing excellent on this title, but I know he got his hands in a lot of different things. Interested to see what's going to happen in this one, because the last Venom issue had, and this is a spoiler for any of you that haven't read it yet, but Eddie Brock died. So, yeah, I'm very interested to see what's going to happen here. I don't know if Dylan's going to take over the costume, or if somehow Eddie Brock's going to come back, or don't know. Okay, next up we have the Symbiote Spider-Man King in Black number 3 and 5. It's another 5-issue series. This is the Shalvey variant. This story so far has been kind of hit and miss. It's not as good as some of the previous Symbiote Spider-Man stories. This has felt more like it's about the Black Knight and not so much about Symbiote Spider-Man. I've got the other two pre-ordered, so I'm going to go ahead and finish the set. But just kind of hit and miss for me. I haven't really enjoyed this as much as I thought I would. Alright, next up we have another King in Black tie-in here. It's the Return of the Valkyries, number 1 of a 4-part series. And this is the Stan Lee Artgerm Lau variant. I love the cover art for this. I'm very interested to see how this is going to turn out. I don't really know too much about as far as, how the Valkyries are going to tie into all this and everything, but should be interested to see them deal with, at least the symbiote dragons and Null. And who knows, maybe one of them will face Null or have a battle with Null at some point in the future. Alright, and for the last issue of this comic book haul, we have another King in Black tie-in here. It is Thunderbolts number 1, and it is a 3-part series. This is the Ron Lim variant. I have enjoyed the Thunderbolt series from the past, so I'm interested to see how they're going to kick things off here with Kingpin basically being in charge. Looks like a whole new cast here that's Thunderbolts. I see Taskmaster's in there, which I know his 5-part series here has been really good. I'm going to pick up the trade at some point because everybody has been saying that's a really great story. But yeah, I'm interested to see, if this actually deals with anything other than the Null Dragons. But it should be an interesting read. I went ahead and pre-ordered all 3 of the issues. And I love this cover here. But this is the last of my my haul for this month. I'll be back on there next month to show you off my next haul. Prime here. If you enjoyed this content, please leave me some comments down below about some of the comic book hauls that you've gotten over the past few months or so, or something you got brand new. And if you like this content, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be trying to drop as much new content as I can with unboxings and various figures and statues and comics as well. And I also do travel and hiking. Please enjoy, and Prime Centurion out.